Your Honor, Mr. Wright, somebody that hired me several years ago, very early on in the representation, which he asked me not to use, and never addressed this with the state.
In today's video, you'll hear a case that will leave you shocked. A father accused of breaking the trust of his own daughter. In court, he admitted his mistake, but is an apology enough? In front of the judge, the truth, the excuses, and the painful realities all came out. And the verdict? One that left everyone stunned. Watch till the end to see the full story.
A step-uncle throughout his childhood. That step-uncle is no longer in his life. That in no way minimizes, is disgusted at the acts that the defendant's version in the pre-sentence investigation report, he explains that he got off work, he'd had a back injury at the time, he took a shower and went and laid in bed. He opened a bottle of whiskey and some pain meds to help with the pain. Kids came in and watched TV for a while with him while he was in bed. He ended up falling asleep. He essentially thought he was dreaming. He's had some back issues, military. He was United States Air Force. He served and discharged. He's had, the PSI shows that he is not diagnosed with a mental disability, but I know that in speaking with him that he's had mental health issues in regards to dealing with trauma from his childhood. Now, Your Honor, we would ask and put before you a very difficult situation. He admitted his guilt. He's asking that you consider deferred adjudication in the amount of 10 years. And obviously, he knows that if he even makes one misstep, he's going to be looking at the full range of punishment that the court can give him under the law.
The real blatant fact here is that Mr. Wright is her father. And she reiterates that this is not an isolated incident like Mr. Wright tries to portray to you. Her words here, him having to serve 20 years seems like a blip in his life compared to what he's caused her to have to live with. He says, quote unquote, she wasn't screaming. She was saying, "Dad, why?" This man may not have any criminal record, but his choices warrant a 20-year sentence. His personal history points to his instability, his previous employment history, just the amount of jobs he's fallen in and out of highlights his instability. To refer to his military history when all he did was serve 6 months does a mischaracterization of those who do actively serve and serve with honor. The fact that he blames this all on alcohol and chooses to continue to use that. I mean, if you just accept that principle, hey, this just happened because I was on alcohol and pain meds, and he was truly remorseful, he would never touch another drop. But that's not been his choice.
Anything else?
Not from the state thing.
Did you want to say anything, sir?
I would. I fully take blame for what I did. Fully, wholeheartedly. Is Lexi here?
She is.
Hopefully,
Hold on, not unless the judge allows you to do this. I'm addressing the judge. I wanted to apologize.
well, let's just take it one step at a time. I want to dialogue a little bit so I'm
Yes, sir.
clear.
And he's talking about.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
You have pleaded guilty to this indictment, correct? You pleaded guilty to this indictment.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Let's just get this straight so that
To be clear, judges, he didn't plead guilty to the indictment. He pled guilty to the lesser included
the
offense.
the lesser included offense.
To handle that.
Did you feel victimized?
I didn't understand it. And
Okay.
yes, eventually as I got older, I did, and I used alcohol quite often to kind of numb that pain. And
Why would you use alcohol to?
I didn't have any. Again, I didn't know. I didn't know who I could, because of it. What it was when I found out, I was about 13. when I'm sort of figuring everything out, like that's not what two guys do together. I had to go through a whole thing about figuring out, does this make me gay or does this, I like women, but now that this has happened to me, does this make me gay? So I went through when I turned about 18, I started drinking heavily and I started trying to sleep my way out of being gay or what I thought would be gay. I thought that was the way to handle it. And I didn't have, because of what it was embarrassing to sort of.
Is what I understand. Is that true? You're nodding, yes?
Yes, sir.
So here is the situation that your attorney has worked with you on and fashioned a case, a situation where the punishment is now limited to no more than 20 years in prison, from life in prison. And I think that Mr. Nix, I'm not surprised. Mr. Nix always represents his defendants in with great vigor and absolute exemplary fashion. I think it's a remarkable agreement that has been reached, because seldom do cases like this have a cap like this. And it is time we all move on. But I just want to ask you this. What is the value of the loss of a child's innocence? Can you think of anything?
Are you asking me, Judge?
It's rhetorical, but go ahead, answer.
It's invaluable.
There's no
Just
Life-
taking it back.
lifetime, a lifetime harm. But you should know. It hurts you, what you're saying. But yet, you go to the child and pass on harm that you knew would affect her the rest of her life. I don't understand that from a parent. And you can talk about drinking all day long, but drinking is not an excuse. Voluntary inebriation doesn't excuse your acts. And understands, appreciates, and realizes that this evil needs to be somehow put behind her, and that she looks forward to good, love, compassion, care, that when she is a parent, she will pass on those that were poor examples that were set by parents. And we don't want that in this case. And I think from what I read with those that she will surround herself with, who will act as responsible friends and loving family, that you failed on. Shame on you. Earlier in this case, if nothing further, you pleaded guilty to this. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this first-degree felony, lesser included first-degree felony. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 20 years imprisonment. And I don't know how that relationship is going to end up with you and your doing such a thing. But whatever it shall be, what she wishes, the very best. And find happiness, because it exists. And surround yourself with a wonderful, loving group of friends and family and try to distance yourself from this nightmare, because life is too short to waste it on horrors that or should be placed in the past. And there is the most important thing to understand is that this is not your fault. You are the victim.
In the end, the court sentenced him to 20 years in prison, a decision that may deliver justice, but the wounds will never fully heal. A child's innocence, a father's responsibility, and a moment of destruction, everything changed. Remember, some mistakes don't just ruin one life, they destroy many. If this video shows you the harsh truth, share it and let us know your thoughts.